Welcome students. So I think everyone has gone through the last PPT in which we have discussed about what is object, what is material, and how we can classify the objects or materials into some groups or something like that. So on what behalf we can classify those materials? I read it from the book. Okay. So there are some properties of materials on behalf of which we will divide those materials or we will classify those materials into those groups. So first of all, suppose we are given a pencil like this. You are given one pencil, and if you are asked so to explain the shape of pencil, to explain, actually to describe the pencil, how will you explain? You will explain like a orange colored pencil which is round in shape, and it has lead, it has substance, it is made up of clay, its color is orange or something like that. You will describe with the help of size, shape, color. I have explained. So this is a orange pencil which is round in shape and it has lead, a substance. So all these things, texture, this is soft to touch but it is hard enough. So this size, shape, color, smell, whatever, all these are the properties of matter. So all matters can be described by such properties. The properties of materials decide what things we can make out of them. So the properties, like if a material is a soft material, if a material has property of softness into it, it can't be made into the pencil. So we want pencil a little bit hard. So the properties of materials decides what things we can make out of them. For example, we cannot make tools out of rubber as it is not hard. We need tools to be hard enough to work. So it can't be made with the help of rubber, and we cannot make cooking utensils out of wood as we know that it is a bad conductor and it will catch fire easily, and will not heat and make our food. So let us study some important properties of matter. First of all, it is appearance. Appearance. Paper looks different. You know that. Suppose you are given two objects like this. These are the two objects. One is box, okay, and one is pencil. So you can easily distinguish between two. Like this is square in shape, this is round in shape, this is of purple color, this is of orange color, and likewise paper looks different from cloth. We can distinguish like this is a tissue, and we can distinguish between this tissue and between this paper. There is some difference between their appearance. So iron looks different from copper or aluminium. At the same time, there are some similarities between iron, copper, and aluminium that are not there in wood or paper. So materials can be classified on the basis of their appearance. Now, next is luster, that is shine. A metal spoon shines whereas a wooden spoon does not shine so much. Silk cloth has a shine whereas woolen cloth does not. As we had already studied about fibers, fabrics, we go to know from that chapter that silk has a shine whereas the woolen cloth does not have any shine. We say that metal has more luster than wood, and that silk has more luster than wool, sorry. An iron rod may not appear lustrous. However, if you use sandpaper to remove the top layer, you will see that it is lustrous. Some metals lose their luster when exposed to air and moisture. So there are some metals like iron. If you expose the iron to air and moisture, there will be a layer of rust, and they will lose that iron will lose its luster. So on that behalf, materials can be classified on the basis of their luster. So what we go to know that materials can be classified on the behalf of appearance, materials can be classified on behalf of luster. So next is texture. Different materials feel different when you touch them, that is they have different texture. So For example, metal is hard and smooth, whereas wool is soft and rough. Soft materials can be compressed and scratched easily. Hard materials are difficult to compress. So, if you were asked to compress an iron material and metal, that is iron, and wool, you will see that you can easily compress the wool while you cannot compress the iron metal. So on that behalf, materials can be classified on the basis of their texture. So there is one activity you can do. You have to close your eyes and you have to keep ask your friend to collect various materials like silk, woolen, metal, wooden, glass, plastic tumbler, glass tumbler, and with your eyes closed, touch these with your eyes closed. So we can make that which material is made up of which material by even by touching. So next is state. Most materials, so we have studied that materials can be classified with their appearance, with their luster, with their texture. Now one of the important is state. So most materials can be placed into one of the three groups. So there are basically three states of matter, that is solid, liquid, or gas. So you can see solid, this is solid, this is liquid, all the matter which is in liquid form, like all water, milk, juices, whatever. Gases that change, we will, I'll explain furtherly. So in one activity you have to classify the following with the help of your knowledge, that which one is solid, which one is liquid, which one is gas. So we will do it later on. First of all, let's see what is solid, what is liquid, and what is gases. So what is the difference between these three states? The difference lies in the way they change their shape and volume. Likewise, solids do not change their shape or volume. You can move a box from one place to another, but its shape and volume does not change. So suppose you are asked to move a chair. When you pick up the chair, do you think it will change its shape? No. So that means it is a solid. Suppose you are asked to pick a book. While picking a book, does it change the shape? No. So that book is also a solid. So basically solids are that do not easily change their shape or volume. Liquids change shape but not volume. Like pouring milk from a jug into a tumbler causes milk to take the shape of tumbler, but you still have the same amount of milk, its volume does not change. So liquids are like, suppose you are given a tumbler full of water and you are asked to put it into a big container, and you will see when you will pour that water from the tumbler to that container, it will take the shape of the container, but there will be same amount of the water which is present in tumbler, there will not be any change in the amount of the water. So basically from this we get that liquids change shape but not the volume. Now gases. Gases easily change their shape and volume. So if you pump air into a football, the air fills the football and takes its shape, its volume changes, it takes up less space in the football than it's outside, it did outside the football. So when you pump the air into a football, you if it is a footballs are of different sizes, so you will see that it will take the shape of each and every shape of football. And if that air is in the atmosphere or surrounding, it will take a much more space than the it is in the football. So next is how, why they, we will get to know, we will study now why they do not change their shape, solids, why liquid change their shape, and why gases easily change their shape and volume. So we will discuss about this using the shapes, using the arrangement of molecules. Like here you can see these are the molecules that are present in different states. So let's study first. All molecules of a substance attract each other. The three states of matter have different properties because of the difference in the arrangement of molecules in them. So remember students, they have this difference, like they change their shape, they do not change their shape, is just due to the arrangement of molecules in them. So in solids, if you see, the molecules are very tightly packed. As they are very close together, they attract each other very strongly, and this force of attraction keeps them together. The position of molecules in a solid are fixed. They can only vibrate about their fixed position. That is why solids have a definite shape and volume. Since it is difficult to make the molecule move away from each other, solids are rigid and hard. As you can see here in this picture, the arrangement of molecules are like they are very strongly packed. They don't have space in between them, and they can only vibrate on their fixed position, but they cannot move. Like this molecule cannot move from its position to this position or this position. They can only vibrate like this, to and from motion, and on their fixed position. And due to this factor, the solids have a definite shape and volume. But whereas in liquid, if it is in the case of liquid, we see that particles are not that tightly arranged. Since the particles are further away from each other in solid, they do not attract each other so strongly. The position of the molecules in a liquid are not fixed, and molecules can move around within the liquid. So liquids are not rigid and they do not have a definite shape. So they can slide over each other and they can move here and there. That's why they do not have proper or a definite shape. So if we talk about gases, we see that in gases the molecules are so far apart that there is hardly any attraction in between them. Therefore, they move around independent of each other, and hence a gas has no definite volume or definite shape. That is why a gas fills the space available to them. So, if we take the example, one activity, half fill a glass tumbler with water. Add a teaspoon of sugar to it and stir the water. What happens? Sugar has dissolved in water, but we will see that sugar will dissolve in the water. Actually, what happens is water causes all molecules in a solid pieces of sugar to break apart, and the individual molecules when separated are so small that we cannot see them, which is why we say that sugar is soluble. So this is also property of solubility. We will discuss it. So first of all, we will, if we summarize this, the properties of solids, liquids and gases, what we will see that, I will zoom a little less. Solids have definite shape while liquids have no definite shape, gases have no definite shape. If in case of volume, solids have definite volume, liquids have definite volume, while the gases have no definite volume. Solids are very strong, the attraction between the molecules is very strong, while the attraction between molecules in liquid are not very much strong, and in case of gases there is negligible attraction. The space between molecule, if we talk about the space, solids are tightly packed while the liquids are less tightly packed, and gases are far apart. The molecules are far apart in the case of gases. Position of molecules. Solids have fixed molecules, liquids have the molecules in the liquid are not fixed, while in the gases they move around freely. So this is the state of matter in which it is divided into three, that is solid, liquid and gases. Now next property is solubility in water. So I have already explained, like when we dissolve sugar in water, what we see that the water causes all the molecules in a solid piece of sugar to break apart. The water breaks the molecules of the sugar, and the individual molecules of sugar when separated are so small that we cannot see them. So we say that sugar is soluble in water. Now, we can also repeat this activity with salt, sand, sawdust and chalk powder, and then we can see what happens in each case. So, now next is for the solubility, take water in a glass tumbler and add some milk to it. Stir and leave the tumbler still so far for some time. Do the water and milk separate or do they remain mixed with each other? Now, mix water and coconut oil in the same way. What do you observe? Do the water and coconut oil separate into two different layers? You can try this with different liquids. So, what we see that if in the case of milk we see that they will remain mixed with each other, they don't separate, but while in the case of water and coconut oil we will see two different layers. So liquids which mix with each other are called miscible liquids. Liquids that do not mix with each other are called immiscible liquids. And gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide are also slightly soluble in water. Plants and animals living in water breathe oxygen dissolved in water, like fishes. They breathe oxygen that is present in water. So that means the oxygen is soluble in water. Plants use carbon dioxide dissolved in water for photosynthesis. Some gases such as nitrogen are however not soluble in water. Thus, water matter can also be classified on the basis of its solubility in water. Now next is density. Now what exactly is density? Suppose, I think you have done it. Suppose you blow a balloon and you try to put it in a tub of water. What you will see? It will float, and if you put a nail, the keel you can say, the iron nail in water, what you will see? It will sink. So balloon is floating or a piece of wood will float on water, but an iron nail will sink. But if you weigh equal volumes of iron, water and wood, you will find that iron is the heaviest, wood is the lightest. An equal volume of iron will be lighter than the iron but heavier than the water. So it will sink in water. An equal volume of cotton will be lighter than the water. It will float on water if placed on a wax paper, because if it is placed as it will absorb the water and it will sink. So what exactly is density? The density is mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume is like this. Suppose this box is having mass as well as it is covering the space also. So this volume, the space it is covering, is called its volume. So the mass per unit volume of a substance is known as density. So a substance like iron, aluminium, which is denser than the water, will sink, and substance like wood, cotton, which is less dense or which is lighter than the water, will float on the water. So matter can be classified on the basis that whether it floats or sinks in the water, that is on the basis of whether its density is less than the water or more than the water. Now next comes transparency. So transparency is, as you can see through the glass but not through wood or a metal plate. So suppose you are having one iron plate, one wood and one glass. If you try to see through them, what you will get that you can easily see through the glass but not through the wood or a metal plate. Do you know why? This is because a light can pass through glass but not through wood or metal. So substances are classified into three groups depending on the amount of light that can pass through them. Likewise, so it is classified into three groups. That is, if the most of the light can pass through an object, it is known as transparent. That is, if most of the light, almost 99% of the light passes through that object, it is called, that is transparent. If no light can pass through it, like in the case of wood, it is called opaque. And if light can pass through partially, it is called translucent. We cannot see through translucent object like frosted glass used in bathroom windows is a translucent. So look towards here is one activity, that is look towards a lighted electric bulb through a sheet of paper. Can you see the bulb? Now spread a few drops of oil on the paper and look through the portion of paper on which there is oil. What do you observe? Can you see the glow of bulb now? Can you see the bulb clearly, or can you see just only its glow? So what we will see that it is a bit translucent, that is we can see a bit of glow. So air is transparent, that is why we are able to see things around us. Water when clear is a transparent material. Matter can be classified on the basis of whether it is transparent, translucent or opaque. So what we got to know that properties are appearance and texture, luster, states of matter, that is furtherly divided into solid, liquid, gases, solubility, some are soluble, which are soluble are known as miscible, insoluble, that is immiscible, another is density, and transparency, which is furtherly divided into transparent, opaque and translucent. So this is all for your chapter now. Thank you for listening.